joy, and honor that I welcome you on the behalf of the Board of Directors of the Foundation of the University of St. Martin, the President of the University of St. Martin, Dr. Francois Guadalupe, Dean of Academics, Ms. Genevieve Philip, the Director of Shell, Dr. Natasha Gittens, the staff, faculty, and student body, to our 22nd commencement ceremony. We are extremely proud and happy to have achieved yet another milestone as we deliver to the community of St. Martin 33 graduates who have earned an associate or bachelor's degree. Truly an accomplishment. I would like to acknowledge our dignitaries on the platform and in the audience this evening, the Minister of Education, Culture, Youth and Sports Affairs, Ms. Sylvia Jacobs. In the audience, the Chairperson of Parliament, Mrs. Sarah Rescott Williams, Member of Parliament, Tamara Leonard, Member of the SED, which is the Social Economic Council, Mrs. Aldine Bryson Pontiflet, the Vice Chair Lady of the Council of Advice, Mrs. Mavis Brooks Solomon. I also would like to acknowledge my fellow Board of Directors on the platform, Mr. Wycliffe Smith, Vice President, Ms. Marcelia Henry, Secretary, Mrs. Olga Washington Service, Government Representative, Management of the University of St. Martin, Dr. Francois Guadalupe, President, Ms. Genevieve Philip, Dean of Academics. I would also like to acknowledge in our presence our partners in the joint initiative UVI at USM from the University of the Virgin Islands. On the platform, Dr. David Hall, President. In the audience, Mr. Stephen Moore, Vice Provost and Dean of Student Affairs. Dr. Stephen Reams, Dean of the School of Business. Dr. Beverly Lancico, Dean of the School of Nursing. Also in our presence is our partner in education from the University of Curaçao, Dr. Francis Delanoy, President, Mr. Guido Royer, Program Coordinator, Ms. Mavis Kuiman, Program Coordinator, Mr. Rutzel Sophia, Lecturer. Also on the platform, our keynote speaker, Ms. Defu, and also our MC, Ms. Prishat Gibson. I am convinced that your presence here is a representation of your value for tertiary education and support to our graduates. Last but not least, I would also like to acknowledge our esteemed faculty who have poured much of themselves into our graduates and the USM staff who have worked tirelessly in preparing tonight's commencement ceremony.
It is an honor and a pleasure to stand here, the class of 2016, as you celebrate the commencement of a new path made possible through your hard work, your dedication, and the ability to persevere through all the challenges that you have faced. Congratulations, firstly, to USM itself, its board, president, dean, provost, staff, professionals, the instructors, and most importantly, of course, graduates and their families. As this achievement is not only for them, it is also by extension an achievement for you. Today is a moment to sit and reflect. Reflect on your journey. Take stock of the challenges that you have surmounted along the way, and the character that you have built while doing so. Through this process, I trust that you are now solution-oriented thinkers and positive change agents who will make a difference in our society with your contributions. Institutions of higher learning such as this are places where you are exposed as visionaries to seek open possibilities and finding ways to make a contribution to the growth and development of yourself as individuals, to your families, to our communities, and to this island we call St. Martin, as well as the wider world. Education never ends. It is a constantly evolving thing. When you think you have achieved your highest, there is always more to learn. May you always, always continue to strive to grow and develop day after day as you pursue your dreams and goals and promise to be agents of change, consistently contributing to an educated workforce. This is the goal of the government of St. Martin in its support of USM and you, the students, and as we continue to strive to work together to make it more possible for more students to enjoy this possibility, I congratulate you on your achievements here today. May you always strive to be lifelong learners who share your knowledge and encourage others to do the same. Congratulations, class of 2016. Congratulations, USM. Congratulations to all who are here in support of our graduates. Thank you.
Protocol already being established, I would like tonight to address my students. Now, I'm sure that the burning question that has to be on your mind is, what exactly did the USM in these years that you've been studying here, what have we sought? Have your professors, Mr. Erwin Wolthuis, Mr. Jan Verbeek, Angelo Brassau, Michael Benjamin, Dr. Natasha Gittens, Marva Sam, Lucretia Lynch, two MPs that teach you, Maurice Lake and Tamara Leonard, and the many others, what have they actually sought to instill in you? Now, you might think that it was primarily to make you a creative and very smart accountant, or that it might have been to make you the most hospitable manager in a tourist establishment, or to make you the brightest and best primary or secondary school teacher. And I believe that is not the most important thing that they try to instill in you, because education is not solely about economics. Education is about creating conscious citizens. So what they have sought to instill in you is actually to interrupt something that is taking place here on St. Martin and taking place throughout the wider world. And that actually is a situation in which upward mobility is becoming difficult for individuals that are not born with a golden spoon in their mouths. In such a situation, you actually turn on the TV, you go to Instagram, you go to Facebook, and you see the modern-day tricksters, the modern-day compananzis, as you would call them, the anansis. The modern-day compananzis are persons such as Kanye West, Kim Kardashian, Dexter Dabbs, these figures that we all like, but what are they actually teaching us? Usually they're saying, education is not so important. What is important to climb the social ladder is that you have a trick and that you have a fairy godmother or godfather. That is presenting all kinds of educational institutions on the primary, secondary, and on the university level with a challenge. What are we going to do? And sitting with your professors, the Dean of Academics, myself, we have said, it is important to break that. To say what you learn is actually to become a very good accountant, a very good school teacher, a very good business manager, someone who is excellent in service as far as hospitality is concerned. But just as important, you actually have to be a conscious citizen, making sure that you pave the way for others who are coming behind you. that you will make it possible for everyone here on St. Martin that is willing and works hard, that they too can climb that social ladder. That the person whose mother cleans the hotels right now, that she still can believe that one day her son and daughter, if she saves every nickel and dime, will be able to climb and perhaps one day be the manager of those hotels, these hotels on the island, will climb and perhaps be the coming prime minister. That is what we've sought to instill in you, and I do hope that when we say you are agents of change, that you will actually make that dream come true for others. Thank you.
Graduates, today represents the start of your journey, where you are well poised and well empowered to contribute to the labor market. Be it in the areas of hospitality or education, I am confident that what you have learned at the University of St. Martin will enable you to impart your knowledge and expertise in your respective areas of employment. Policy debates in all corners of the Caribbean are currently framed and focused on curbing the trend of brain drain and creating and sustaining knowledge-based economies. The fact that you are here today as a graduate of USM represents your level of patriotism and nationalism. And for that, I commend and congratulate you all. For those of you from neighboring islands in the region and our international students from further afield, I know that being at USM required significant adjustments. However, I wish to applaud you for opening your minds and hearts to embrace a new culture and a new experience. What you have contributed to is the much-needed revolution in our education systems, where students are encouraged to appreciate diversity and multiculturalism. Graduates, you are in an advantageous position to be agents of change with the level of cultural intelligence you have attained. You now have the ability to maneuver not only the national context, but also the regional and global context, which to me is paramount to any other goal or ambition. As agents of change, it is now your responsibility to critically question the status quo and engage in helpful and productive discourses that force leaders and citizens to see the damage that is done when paradoxes and contradictions are reinforced. You must question when you hear things like "we for we" from overly enthusiastic nationalists, because you know that you have sat side by side with colleagues from the region and wider world who, though not part of that movement, have shown their confidence in your university by being educated here. Graduates, you are agents of change, and this world is your oyster. Go forth and conquer. You are meant to break barriers and boundaries, and you can only do that by thinking critically, thinking responsibly, and thinking independently, as you invoke change in the intellectual spaces you will go on to occupy. Congratulations, and do enjoy.
I would like to thank you for bestowing this great honor on me as your speaker for this special, very special occasion. When Dr. Guadalupe called me to invite me to be the keynote speaker, it was Friday the 13th of last month, and I was at my job at the University of Utrecht, working, while Friday is actually my day off. But I was still at the job, working very hard, trying to finish my final project for my PhD, also called a doctoral thesis or a doctoral dissertation. You see, similar to you graduates, I am in a transition phase. I only have a few weeks left to finish my doctoral thesis, a very stressful, emotional, and uncertain phase of my life, because after I complete my PhD, I will have to find another job, perhaps as a postdoctoral researcher or as an assistant professor. So I am currently busy searching for jobs, and at the same time, I am trying to complete my PhD. This is what I mean when I say that I am in a transition phase, similar to the transition you have to make after you graduate, so after today. Some of you are also currently searching for a new job, or others might continue studying in hopes of earning an even higher degree, maybe even a PhD degree. I am aware that former students of USM went on to earn PhD degrees as well, so you can do it if that's your goal. Take full advantage of this diploma that you have earned because, as others have shown, USM lays a great foundation for achieving great things. And today, graduates, is only the beginning of those great things. I did not study at USM, unfortunately, but I am still one of you. As you have just heard, although I live in the Netherlands now, I am a St. Martiner, from Middle Region, by the way. I attended Dr. Martin Luther King School in Dutch Quarter and high school at MPC. After finishing VWO at MPC, I moved to the Netherlands 10 years ago for my studies, and now I am finishing up my PhD. A PhD, which is a degree that is considered the highest academic degree, and it is a requirement for employment as a professor or as a scientist in most fields. So how did I manage to travel to the Netherlands from Middle Region at the age of 19 and get accepted into a PhD program, which I am completing at Utrecht University with additional training at Cambridge University in England and at Harvard University in the States, some of the highest ranked universities in the world. Here is my story, a quite unusual story, since it is not the typical story or average story you will hear from someone who is completing a PhD. I would like to share with you my journey that brought me to where I am now. In doing so, I would like to share with you 3 commandments. But they are not related to the Bible, so don't worry, I'm not going to take you to church here. They are just Ivy's commandments, some of my personal experiences and life lessons that I often share when I give motivational speeches. As you have also heard, I am a developmental child and youth psychologist by training, and my area of expertise is problematic development in children and youth. For instance, antisocial behavior development in youth, such as getting involved with criminal behavior. Many psychological research studies all over the world have shown that multiple individual, social, and environmental factors lead to such problematic development of youth. Individual factors such as low academic achievement in a child, social factors such as having low educated and low income parents, and environmental factors such as growing up in a rough and disadvantaged neighborhood. You don't have to be a psychological scientist to be able to imagine that those factors might contribute to difficulties in youth development, such as behavioral problems, which also lead to a downward spiral of a lot of other issues. But what if I told you that this description describes my past? This brings me to the first commandment. Your past does not have to determine your future unless you allow it to. Disappointments, failures, trials, tribulations do not have to get in the way of you achieving great things and completing your success story, but again, unless you allow it to. You are in control of your destiny. So let me give you some more details about what I'm referring to when I stated that I had individual, social, and environmental issues that could have gotten in the way of me achieving great things in life. First of all, the individual issue is that I had reading problems as a child. During my childhood, I was more of the creative type. I liked to draw and make nice artwork, a talent that I got from my mom, who is actually in the audience today. Hello, Mommy. But back to the point, eventually my reading difficulties were the primary reason I repeated grade 1, something that I don't often share with others because they will feel sorry for me, perhaps rightfully so, because some psychology studies do show that repeating a class has negative effects on a child's development. However, for me, I believe that repeating first grade helped me to get where I am now, academically, and in my personal life. Sometimes negative things happen to you to give you a shake and to show you that you are doing something wrong and importantly, to show you that you can do better. I vividly remember sitting one day in class in first grade, feeling a bit down and disappointed, and thinking, I am never ever going to repeat a grade ever again. And guess what? I never did. From second grade onwards, all through primary school, I was always the top 3 in my class. Really, it was like a miracle. I couldn't believe it myself. In fourth grade, I was even crowned the best reader in my class, and I graduated valedictorian and went on to the Harvard Various stream at MPC. And now I am finishing up a PhD. So sometimes all it takes is a mindset, thinking that you can do better, and it helps when you have people around you to tell you the same. And usually doing better means working harder or changing something about the way you work. After I told myself that I will never repeat a grade again, reading became my favorite hobby, and the library became my second home. And if you don't believe me, you could really ask one of the librarians who Ivy is. They will know.
For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29, verse 11. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. Good evening, everyone. Protocol being established, it is my honor to address you on behalf of Class 2016. Agents of change, consistently contributing to an educated workforce. This is a long theme. First time I heard a theme so long. But in order to become agents of change in one society, you must change within yourself. This has been a long, challenging, yet gratifying journey to this day. For some, it felt strange sitting beside one of your elementary students you have thought years ago, and vice versa. That is a change compared to the past. The classes were mixed with students in their early 20s and even those in their late 50s. Another change in comparison to the past. We even had those who attended class with their children. But despite the age difference, or even differences in majors, our minds were made up and we were determined to achieve the very best and nothing less in becoming agents of change to an educated workforce. From semester 1, the sleepless nights and early mornings began, and we quickly had to adjust our schedules and spend more time researching, studying, and reading, and yet live up to our jobs and family obligations. Those who were not used to USM nightlife quickly became friends with Coffee Mate and Maxwell House, and even ginger and vitamin C. That was the ritual. And you know what? The supermarkets were happy with us. We quickly realized that in order to function, we had to remember the 5 Ps, which are proper preparation prevents poor performance. So we needed to equip ourselves with a few things: time management, proper planning, perseverance, sacrifice, endurance, determination, a strong self-esteem, and motivation, whether it was from family, friends, classmates, colleagues, even teachers. And make sure your assignments were in on time, because points were being deducted. For some, it was a very emotional and strenuous journey, and a great challenge combining work, family, and study. We made new friends and even created our very own USM family. We leaned on each other and lifted each other up. We assisted each other in numerous ways. We even created our very own USM version of potluck, bringing food for each other when we had long nights or even long weekends, Saturday and Sunday. We became a family looking out for each other, motivating, teaching, helping, or just being there for each other. Some got study financing and others funds from organizations such as AUC, I Am St. Martin, Education for All, and many others. Sorry. They made it possible for us to attend USM. And then there were those who sacrificed their savings, or even half of their salaries, or even help from loved ones to reach their destination, and we applaud them. All in all, we realize that studying is costly, but in order to achieve your goal, it was worth it. It's sad to leave some of you or say goodbye, knowing we will not see our teachers, faculty, some cool, some strict, some funny, or even the boring ones. But most of all, leaving our USM family is very emotional. In closing, I would like to leave you with this message. I have fought the great fight. I have finished the course, and I have kept the faith.